Good afternoon. Welcome to Evolve Through God. My name is Angela Goodman, and excited is not enough. Excited is not enough. Today on the podcast, I have one of my friends and coworkers and amazing humans, Liz Szporn. And I just have to tell you, you guys are going to find out today as you listen to her, but she is one of the cutest humans ever. And you're just going to want to cuddle her today. I know that's going to happen today because she's so amazing. So Liz, welcome to the show.
I mean, cute, like a cute, cuddly,
Yes.
snuggly bear.
Yes,
Okay,
you
I'll
are.
take
Your
it.
energy is the most adorable thing ever.
And I have to say, I wonder if that ever changes because, I just turned 50. So I'm like, are we allowed to say cute still? Like, am I? Because
Yes.
I
Yes, you
think
can be
I'm
cute
sort of,
till you die, Liz.
I think cute is like just a funny phrase, but I like it. I'm like, oh, I look so cute today. Because I say it. I'm like, oh, I look
Uh-huh.
cute today. Cute. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, should I say sophisticated? No, I'm not.
We're all the things. We're all
We're
the
all the
things.
things.
All
But
the
I'll take
things.
cute. I'll take cute.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
you're here. So, the guests that come on the show I don't usually try to know anything about their journey
Yes.
beforehand. And you and I have known each other for several years, and I
Mhm.
don't know this part of your life at all. So I'm
Mm-mm.
really excited to find out about your walk
Okay.
with God. So
Excellent.
start where you'd like to start, Liz.
Well, we could start at the beginning, as I think it's a fairly common for at least most of the episodes that I listened to.
Hmm.
Not particularly, uh, let's see, not particularly spectacular. I grew up in the Episcopal Church. So
Okay.
I'm from the middle of the country. I'm from Ohio. And my parents, we went to church at St. Mark's every Sunday. I was in the youth group. I did all the stuff. Church was definitely a part of what we did. And I learned later that Episcopalianism is like, it's hilarious. It's like lazy man's Catholic because they're like, listen, we like a lot of this, but we want to be able to get divorced. We're just going to say that we
Yeah.
want to be able to get married, but still hold power positions. And so when I learned that in college, I cracked up because I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what it felt like. It sort of felt like country club, right? So it was like
Oh, it was
it,
Catholic light.
it was
Catholic light.
Catholic light, and it was a lot of families of attorneys and doctors and professionals, and
Hmm.
not a lot of spiritual. I didn't ever learn anything from any sermons. I was in the choir, so we sang our faces off and loved that. Like I loved it, but I never felt particularly. I didn't
Connected.
feel. Yeah, I didn't feel connected or the spirit. Like I'm glad I knew it. I prayed. I knew, I liked the dogma of it. I liked the
Mhm.
songs. I liked knowing all the rituals and stuff like that. But um, in and so that was fun. And then in high school, my mom sort of fell away from church. She has her own story that I won't share, but there was some trauma that popped up when she was in middle age, and so
Mhm.
she stopped going. So we all stopped going, but not before I joined a group called Young Life. Are
Okay.
you familiar with Young Life?
No, what is Young Life?
Young Life is a Christian organization. It's like high school um, youth groups, but they come to the schools or you go to people's houses. So it was like
Oh, okay.
basically
Okay.
it was super fun. So it was all high school kids, and like the Young Life leaders were in their 20s, and they were just
Hmm.
super awesome humans and really nice people. My mom had gotten involved in that. With that group, and like they had camps, and so we went to like summer camp for a couple weeks, and it was just really fun. And so it was there that I actually gave my life to Christ, that I
Very
became born
cool.
again, right?
Hmm.
So it was on one weekend, um, and I felt, the electricity that comes
Yeah.
with doing that and declaring, and we're
Hmm.
crying, and everyone's doing that, and it was really fun. And then I got back to school, and everyone started making fun of me for that,
Oh,
and
of
I was like,
course.
oh, right, this part of it. So people were like, now you're a goody two shoes, holier than thou, making fun of me for various reasons, which I didn't really care about. It doesn't really bother me
And you
that
were
much.
how old at this point?
I was like 15, like
Okay.
14,
Okay.
15.
So
So it
you
was
still had
like
a few years of high school left.
100%. And
Okay.
it was one of those, like I brought a few of my friends to it and they didn't really like it. And they were like, nah, not for us, but fine, do what you want to do. So it's like the core group didn't care.
Hmm.
But, people who are going to make fun of you for whatever started making fun of me. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
interesting. I forgot about this part. Okay, whatever. kept doing Young Life, and it was really fun. And then it's my summer before my senior year of high school, and you could do something when you were like 16 or 17. You could go work at the Young Life camp
Okay. Okay.
for the whole summer, which I was like, that is awesome. Because I was, anyway, to get me out of Ohio, I'm like, yeah, let's get out of here. Let's go
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So I went to a camp in North Carolina, in the mountains of North Carolina, and it was super fun. So it's like huge camp. It's like a national camp. So every kid from Young Life can come, and so there were dozens and dozens of us workers, all between the ages of 16 and 20. So there were like people were making out everywhere, and it was
Oh
like,
boy.
you know,
Oh boy.
you know
Here
what
we are at
happens
a
at
Christian camp and everybody's
camp.
having love. There's just love to get
Everyone's
around.
like kissing and smooching and all this, you know, but it's mostly super fun. So like it's for my first time living in a dorm like thing with other people, and all these kids were going to college, and it was super fun. The first 2 weeks were awesome. And it was, I was working you got to change jobs. So I had a couple different jobs, but at this point I'm working in the gift shop, and it was easy. You just get to sell stuff to parents when they're there and fold stuff and whatever. And I started, there were some leaders of this camp. So they're like, you know, all the real grownups running the camp. And so there was this leader, the main guy, his name was Michael. And Michael was this amazing, dynamic, wonderful, spiritual entity. And you just like would listen to him and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so great. His talks, they didn't call them sermons, but his talks were great. We all sang a million songs, and it was really fun. His assistant started hanging out around me and started trying to get my attention. And so I was like, he would walk me back to camp. He's a grown up. And again, I'm like 17. And so he's walking me back, and we're just getting, you know, talking a lot and blah, blah, blah. And then he's pushed himself on me in a way that I was like, that's not good. This is not okay. This is not okay. And I was like, okay, cool. Thanks. No, thanks. Because again, he's a grown up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not okay. And he just kept pushing and pushing. And one bad thing happened. And then I was like, that was terrible. I don't know what's happening. I'm embarrassed. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And
How
I
do
was
you
very
handle
confused.
that? Alone at 16 and yeah.
And not talking to anybody about it. Cause I'm like, what just happened? Like I was embarrassed. I was shamed, and
you were
it
shocked.
was weird. And I'm still working, and I'm by myself. And this is, you know, in the 90s. So there's no phones. You don't call your parents. You don't do anything. I didn't know enough people well to say anything. So I'm like sitting with this for like 4 or 5 days. And I was like, that doesn't feel good. And then all of a sudden, the big guy, it's like, I see him somewhere, and he's like, hey, Liz. And it was weird that he knew my name. And I was like, how does he know my name? And he's like, hey, Liz, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm just walking back from whatever. My job was over. He's like, oh, I need some help. Can you come with me? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll help you. What do you need? And we walk, and we're going to his residence. And I'm like, yeah, you know what's going on. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's weird. Okay. I was like, no, I'll just go, because his wife and his children were there. So I thought, they just left that morning, but I didn't know this. And I was like, no, your family's there. I don't need to go. It's okay.
Wow.
And I was like, he's like, no, come in. And I was like carrying all these boxes for him. So I'd had a quote unquote.
Yeah. You had a reason.
I had a reason, right?
Yeah. Oh,
and again, he's the boss. And
he's the one who got you to carry the boxes.
He got me to carry the boxes, and it's, you know, he's so
totally premeditated,
magnetic, and it's so like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I can't believe he wants to talk to me. Me? Why me? Oh, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
And we get in there, and he shuts the door, and I again still think his family's there. And I was like, oh, is your wife here? He has 2 cute little kids. And he's like, oh no, they left. And like everything changed. And I was like, oh no, shoot. And he just starts saying terrible things, terrible, scary things, does terrible, scary things. And I'm like, what on earth is happening? Like I went out of my body. It was really the whole thing. Like, you know, what is it? 40 years later, you're like, yikes, and yikes. And I'm sitting there like, this can't be happening. This doesn't happen at Christian camp.
No,
why would God let this happen?
This is the guy who's in charge.
He's running it. He's running the whole thing. So he's up there saying all the things that we need to do to be closer to God, be closer to get to
Oh,
heaven, all of it, right? And I'm like, this can't be real. What have I done to make him think that I liked this or wanted this or whatever, right? All
oh
of this. And again, and
man.
I'm not a little kid, like I'm
No.
17.
Yeah, you're old enough to know it's not right.
Yeah. And I had already had one weird interaction with his assistant, which we come to find out was
Was
their
like attack.
1-2 punch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of things happened. You all
Oh,
have your own experiences with these. So I
boy.
don't need to get the yucky stuff, but
Yeah.
it didn't end well. And it was hugely traumatic and awful. And he
What did you
said,
do? What did you
um,
do?
I left. I
Yeah.
was sobbing. So I couldn't,
Oh, I'm sure you
he
were.
was freaked out. He was like, I don't know how to get this person to stop crying. I don't know what to do. Just go away, basically, go away. And I'm like, I walk back and again in a daze. Like it's one of those, like, I
Yeah.
sort of wish I could see what it looked like because I can't even imagine. I
No,
had to
I'm
like,
sure your memory has protected you
yeah,
from that. I mean, I'm
totally.
sure from that
But
kind
just
of
looking like a
trauma.
zombie. It's like I just pictured
Yeah.
and it was so where all the adults were was on one side of the camp and the kids were all on the whole
Yeah.
other side. So it was a very long
Yeah.
walk back and I passed dozens of people who were like, "Hey Liz, you okay?" And I was like, "I don't feel well. I don't feel well." And clear, it was obvious, like
Yeah.
my face was like a
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah.
I was a mess. And so I get back and I just start sobbing and I can't stop crying for probably 5 hours. And everyone in my dorm is like, what is happening? I didn't say anything because I'm like, I don't even know what to
I
say.
mean, at this point in time, had you been with anyone prior to this?
One person.
So so you at least knew what was going on in that regard.
Correct. Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I knew like and it was like my long-term boyfriend, and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was a
yeah,
big
yeah,
deal. And I
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
scared and I
yeah,
felt bad
yeah.
about that. And I was like, what have I
Yeah.
done the first time? Like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Whatever. But it was like we've been dating for years. And so I was
Yeah.
like, okay, at least that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
Okay. All
So
right.
there's that.
So everyone sees you, you're walking back.
I'm in the dorm, I'm sobbing in my
Yeah.
bedroom, and then I stopped crying. And I was like, this isn't okay. I have to tell my parents.
Yeah.
And I don't think I cried again because I was like, I have to tell my parents. This is not okay. Like, it was so crazy.
Yeah.
Immediately, it was like, that's not me. I didn't do this. I didn't do this. I didn't do anything
No.
wrong.
No, you didn't ask for
Immediately.
that. No.
Right. And so there's divinity in so many of these little pieces. And that was a big one for me that I just stopped crying. And it was
Did you
like,
talk to God on the walk back? Do you remember if you
I
had
don't remember.
a conversation? Yeah.
I don't remember. I probably it's on some level was just
Mm-hmm.
like talking to myself, which is,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time I'm talking to God. And so I got up and I went to the payphone and I
Mm-hmm.
called my poor parents. And being a parent,
Oh
can you
gosh, I can't
imagine
imagine.
that
No.
call?
No. No.
I think about that a lot of how horrible that phone call had to be for them.
How did they handle it?
Um, really well. My dad is an attorney and my mom is a psychologist, so they have some good sort of
Background, experiential background, I
poker
guess.
face for
Mm-hmm.
trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were super scared. And in hindsight, they hate the way that they handled it, but whatever. We do the best we can when we
Yeah,
can. It's
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It was
We don't
all
know. We don't
for a
know. We don't
reason.
know what's going to happen in that moment.
Yeah, we don't know. And that, for all I know, that was exactly I know it was exactly what it was supposed to be. So they said, okay, go to your room, go back to the dorm. We're going to call the camp. We're going to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
So this is now like nighttime, right? So it's summertime, so but it's like dusk, so it's probably 7 or 8 p.m., right? I go to bed feeling sick to my stomach. I, told one person size like the edges of the story, and they were like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh my goodness, shit, this is terrible." I'm like, "Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's terrible. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm so scared. I can't stay here. I still had a month
No. Oh my
left.
God, no.
I had a month
No.
left. I was supposed to be there for
Jeez.
a whole nother month. I was like, I can't stay here. What am I going to, what am I going to do? Next morning, someone comes to get me and it's this other henchmen is what I call them now these days. I call them all
Oh
henchmen.
my
Another
gosh.
henchman came
Yeah.
to get me and
Yeah.
said, so, hey, we heard from your parents. Just come with us.
Yeah.
We're gonna take you.
Yeah.
And they proceeded to lock me in a room for 2 days.
What?
You
What?
can't make this stuff up, friend.
Did they just think it was gonna go
Yeah,
away? Like
yeah.
they were gonna lock you in a room for 2 days and then you would just be done?
And then someone would have gotten me by then. So I would not talk to anybody. So I wouldn't say anything to
Oh
anybody.
my
Right?
word.
Right?
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, what on earth is happening? So my parents are now calling and calling and calling. And they said, they're like, well, I don't know why we didn't get in the car, other than we have these friends who I was at this time going to their church, which is not an Episcopal church, more like a evangelical, hands up Jesus church,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But so they were definitely of the spirit, and they're like, this family is actually coming through. They said, we called them and they said they would pick you up. And I'm like, okay. So like
Okay.
like a dude friend of mine and his little brother, and parents are super nice, but I'm like, what am I,
Yeah, I don't
how
want
do
to be
I,
with people that I don't know
how do I
yeah.
hide this for a whole 15-hour drive back to Ohio? Like,
Well, and so your parents didn't tell them what was going on. They just
they
said, get
said
in the
something
car with
bad
them and they're
has
going to bring
happened
you
and
home.
Liz has to come home. Yeah, right. Secret.
Oh man. Man.
Secrets. Do not
Man.
tell. And
Man.
so I know. So
Man.
I'm in this room. My dad is like, why is she locked in the room? And they're like, it's for her own protection. Nope.
Well,
Whatever.
maybe it was partly. Who knows what the heck else he would have done,
Correct. Who knows?
right?
Correct.
Oh my
Correct.
God.
You're right. You're right. So I'm in this room. I'm freaking out. I'm alone. I'm scared. Like again, I'm a 17-year-old. I was pretty mature. We're 80s, 90s kids. So we're like a little bit more mature on some levels. But in the other way, I have no idea what this means.
I can't
Am
imagine.
I in trouble? Did I break something? What is going to happen? All these things. But I'm alone, like truly in some apartment by myself, and I'm not allowed to leave. And I'm like, I don't even understand what's happening. And so
I mean, did
finally,
they bring you food?
yes, yeah, they brought me food like I was the criminal. Like it's so crazy.
Wow.
All in the name of God and love,
Ugh.
like all of it. And camp is still going on. This guy, Michael, is still leading the
Like
things.
nothing happened. Like nothing
Nothing
absolutely happened.
happened. And all these people know, all his henchmen know. They know that there is a 17-year-old locked in an apartment
Yes. Yes.
in camp jail. I was in camp
Yes.
jail.
Oh
It's
my God.
amazing. So
Jeez.
and this whole way, I'm like, I wish I could see what I look like because I can't even imagine. Like, did they give me a
Yeah.
book? Am I reading the
Yeah.
Bible? Like, what am I doing all day? It's a long time.
You don't even remember.
I don't even remember.
How
No,
you
it's
blocked
all
it all
blacked
out.
out.
Yeah.
My friends pick me up, and I am like trying to be my usual funny, smart friend, person. And I'm like, okay, I have no one to say goodbye to. All my stuff was waiting for me. They'd packed up all my stuff for me, and I'm just gone. What do you think those kids thought? Like, what on earth would have happened?
Man.
I can't even imagine. So then we're driving home. I cry most of the way home. And my friend Mike's like, are you okay? Like 80 times. I'm like, nope.
You're like, no, brother, I'm just gonna sit here and cry.
I'm gonna sit here and cry. I'm in between both boys and their mom, Karen and Bruce, mom and dad, Karen and Bruce kept turning around and Karen just kept giving me her hand. She's like, I don't know, but I'm here. I don't know, but I'm here. And I'm like bawling.
Oh,
Okay. So
oh, Liz.
that was pretty quickly ended the relationship that I knew and had with God pretty quickly. So I didn't
Yeah,
want
I
it
mean,
to be there.
what did you do after that?
Um, as you can imagine, like went through a huge up and down roller coaster of everything. So I was just
Yeah.
furious and I was embarrassed. And then I felt like
I
I
mean,
did it.
did any of that get called out? Did he ever get called out for any of that?
So then, yes. So
Okay.
yeah. And it didn't end well either. So my dad, as I said, was an attorney.
Yeah.
He quickly was like, this is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to sue him.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you what this means, Liz. I will not do this if you do not want to do this. And again, I had no idea what this process would look like. I had
Right.
no idea. So we ended up going through, this lasted through my senior year of college. I dealt with this on a legal
Wow.
level and
Wow.
emotional, spiritual level almost
Oh
every
my
day for five
gosh.
years. Like it
Oh,
was so crazy. So we went, they said, this is what happened. I'm telling all the things to to my dad, who is my attorney, and his best friend, Joe, who is the attorney. And I'm telling them everything, all the embarrassing things, how many times I had had sex before that, how,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is insane. Um, and then we had a private investigator was following me around in college for 2 years, watching everything I did for 2 years to prove that I was,
That you had led him on
yeah,
and made
that
that.
I
Oh
did
my
it.
God.
I
And so he
know.
was following you around for 2 years. Did you have any idea he was following you around for
Yes.
2 years?
So it was a whole bunch of people. So they would change and I could see them. I'm walking to school and a car is trailing me. And I go to school in the middle of nowhere. And now I'm in college, right? So
Right, right, right,
high
right.
school, nothing really happened. That senior year, they were fighting legally for a while and it moved
Right.
very slowly. But in college, when it got to the point where we were now saying we're suing you for money and all of that stuff,
Right.
then
Right.
the gloves came off and they're like,
Oh my.
fine, we'll show you who she really is. And again, I'm now a 19-year-old post trauma dealing with
Yes.
everything. I
Yes.
have horrible coping skills because I'm a kid and I
Yeah.
like to party. So they're
Yeah.
watching everything,
Yeah.
follow me around. Like people were taking pictures of me. They had pictures for years of me.
My God.
I know. So so my relationship was very wounded and very broken.
Yeah. I
Every,
mean, during that time, did you have any connection whatsoever?
no,
Because yeah. Yeah.
no, no. I to this day still have a very, very hard time with church and organized religion. Very, very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything changed. I think it was my freshman year of college when I realized that he did this to 7 other people that summer
7?
that we know of.
7. And that was just that summer. Who knows what the heck he was doing before he got found out?
And when he goes back to Florida in his
I mean,
regular life, in his regular church, in his
oh
regular,
my God.
right? So I took that, I took that as it was supposed to happen to me because
Because you
I
would be the
have,
one who would vocalize it. You would have been the one to let it out. And God needed an attorney as a
and I
father
had
to
the
make
family
all that
support
happen.
who would
Yes.
know that it wasn't me, who would
Yeah.
know, right? Because you think of how many girls go through this and their family immediately
Oh, and
says,
their family believes they're
"You."
lying. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Every
Yeah.
second of it would never
Yeah.
even, they would never tell, they would never.
Right.
So everything changed when I learned that. And almost immediately, it was like this electric bolt went back to God. I was like, all right, we're back. I will still have a very hard time with church, as I mentioned, but
Yeah.
that back with God was like, all right, okay, that sucked,
Wow. Wow.
but I'm better for it
But now I
in a
understand
million
why it
ways.
was me.
And now I know why it's me.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
okay.
Wow. I'm so
Phew,
sorry
that
that that
hurts.
happened to you, though.
Thank you. Yeah,
So
thank
sorry
you.
that happened to you.
Um, but it changed everything.
Hmm.
So I was in college again. Another story was I was like assaulted at a fraternity party, and I don't put up with any of it anymore.
No.
I wrote a letter to the Panhellenic Association. I wrote a letter to the president of the entire national board of this fraternity.
Hmm.
I was like, no way, not anymore. No. So every time which unfortunately, I don't know if you know stats like this, but if it happens once to a person, the likelihood of it happening again is like 80%. And I don't know why. No one really understands why, but it's like so common. And how many women and girls have endured this,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm one
right?
of them. I'm one of them. It happened to
Right?
me too. Yeah.
It's more common. It's more uncommon to find someone who isn't, right? And
Yeah.
so you're like, this is if I am supposed to play this part on any level that I can, I will.
Yeah.
And I will. And I have helped people through this more times than I care to count. I have raised my girls and my son I married the man I married because of how he reacted to this story that I told him
Yeah.
the first night we met. I told him this story.
Well, good for you because it's who
I
because it is who you are and why you are
was
who you
like,
are.
you need to know
Yeah.
this. And I
Yeah.
go, it's cool if you walk away going, oh, no thanks. You did
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
You did not. Right.
No,
So
because you're freaking amazing, Liz. And that's part of the
something.
reason too why you got singled out because your light is
Yeah.
so bright. It's
Yeah.
so bright. And
They
that's
said, I
awesome.
mean, they said something like the first guy said that he's like, we just see you. I just see you everywhere. I'm like, who is that?
Yeah.
Who is that? So there was something
Yeah.
to that too, I
Yeah,
think.
I mean that's just who you are. That's the openness that you are and the gifts that God gave you are just so big and so bright that everybody's attracted to you, Liz. It's
Yep.
not like everybody wants to be around Liz. Your energy is
So
just
nice.
incredible, but it's true. I'm not
Thanks. Thanks.
nice. I'm being
I know. Thank you.
honest.
Yeah. So there's that.
So it happened again in college too, and
Yep. Yep.
unfortunately, and then you really took to
Yeah.
advocacy at that
Yeah.
point.
Correct.
Okay.
And it was great. It was much smaller. Like in the scheme of it, it was like um it was it was compared to that first one was almost nothing that I was just it was almost like a fly that I got to swat away and be like, no,
Yeah.
no, don't do
Yeah.
that again. This is not okay. This is not, because it was like
Yeah.
a third girl that weekend that these guys they're just animals or I don't even know what they were, whatever. But
They're
yes,
dumb. They're dumb
they're
is what they
so
were.
dumb and so
They're just
selfish. And I
dumb.
was so sick of it and whatever. So throughout that though, and after like I said, the line to God was there. The
Hmm.
religion never came back. And what
Hmm.
is fascinating is I got very clear signs that I didn't have to go to church anymore.
Yeah.
And I
What
feel
what
like
signs did you get? What signs
just
did
like
you get?
what I see in nature and how I commune every day
Hmm.
with God is
Hmm.
like I walk every morning with the dogs, or I'm always outside as much as I can. And that to
Hmm.
me is church. So I believe that my church is actually the whole world, and I don't have
Hmm.
to go in there where people are there, I believe, unfortunately, more for power and
Hmm.
control than
Hmm.
actual spirit. And I've tried a bunch of churches. Like everywhere, every place I moved, I would try to go to a different church, and they were all various kinds. The one most recently here is was a really great. I loved the Reverend is amazing. He's again very similar to Michael, which made it really hard for me to actually stay
I
there.
bet. I bet.
And I was like, man, his sermons were amazing and dynamic and awesome. And I loved it. And I just couldn't. I just, every time I'd be like, I can't do it. I can't
Yeah.
stay. I can't
Yeah.
stay. So it's like, whatever. Um, but I stopped worrying about that. So
Hmm.
now we will go to like the Episcopal Church for Easter and Christmas and stuff like that. And my kids
Yeah.
will go with me, and I like the pomp and circumstance and the dogma of it,
Yeah.
but I don't get spiritual guidance there. I don't feel connected other
Right.
than this feels like a warm blanket from childhood as a
Yeah.
kid, right? But I'm outside, I'm fully talking to God.
Yeah.
Music feel like it comes through music. So I
Yeah.
feel it through songs and through words and songs and then being
Hmm.
outside. So
I love
so
that. I totally
yeah.
agree with that myself. For many years, I struggled with my own faith because I had issues with the church also.
Yep.
And so I also feel like I feel most connected when I am with God's creatures,
Hmm.
more so than God's people.
Correct.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Like
Yeah.
there's something about walking in there that I'm like, it just already feels like a veil is over
Yeah.
everything. Like it's
Yeah.
just not, I don't feel the spirit unless I'm outside or
Yeah.
through a song. Um, yeah. So
Yeah. Wow. Well,
yeah.
Liz, so in your current daily practices, how
Mhm.
do you commune with God? What does that look like aside from being outside and talking to him? What other
Yeah.
things do you do in the course of your day to bring you closer?
That's a great question. One thing that started last fall was there's a group of people that I pray with and for every morning. There are six of
Oh.
us women every morning, and we each take a day of the week to share a verse or a proverb or a poem or a something,
Mm-hmm.
but we pray for each other and for each other's businesses every single
Mm,
day. And
love that.
so that, me too. And that, so that it definitely fills my bucket. And it's, people are going through so much. And,
Mm-hmm.
I know these people professionally. So to be invited into their struggles in this way and to
Mm-hmm.
have this anchor of each other and of God has been
Yeah.
really, really delightful. Like it has definitely increased my gratitude by a bazillion percent. And I've always
Mm-hmm.
been a pretty thoughtful, thankful person. I know
Mm-hmm.
my life is better than 99.99999%. Like I
Yeah.
have no complaints of anything. Um, but it's been fun to really be grateful on an even more overt level at this point. So
Yeah.
that's been super fun.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Well, we are actually, so it's a good time because we're actually nearing our time together already. I told you it was going to go fast.
I know it did. Look at that.
I
Holy
know.
moly.
It's like it went really, really fast. So the three questions that I ask all of my guests is to help educate the people who are listening, like if they're seeking or starting their journey. So other than the Bible,
Mhm.
what other book or something you absorbed or read or listened to makes you feel close to God?
You know what? It's a funny one. And actually, we were talking about one that you recommended to me earlier, The Happy Pocket Full of Money. That
Oh,
one
hmm,
that has a lot of spirituality in it for me. It
hmm,
did, but it
hmm.
was actually it's The Big Leap
Yeah, that's a good one.
by Gay Hendricks, and there's
Yep.
something about that the idea of, and I don't think it's like a good one for a faith journey, but it's sort of like a trusting in myself and knowing
Yeah.
that God wouldn't have put these in me if I wasn't supposed to do something with
Yeah.
them. And
Yeah.
so, like the gifts that we all are given, and most
Hmm,
of the time underutilizing, is
hmm.
where I sort of found a presence of God in there and a spirituality that's not conventional for
No, but
those
I
on
love
their
that
own
because it's
journey.
true. Like we
Yeah,
we aren't limited in how we were created. So
right.
it's true. I mean, we were not limited in how we were created, and it's important for all of us to recognize that we are holding ourselves back
Yeah.
or other people are holding ourselves back, and we need
Mhm.
to do what God created us to do.
Yep. Yeah. So there's that's an unconventional one for you.
I like that one. I like that one. That's definitely a first on that one for sure.
I was
But
gonna
I
say
but I like it.
that's the
It's a
new
great book.
column.
Yeah, it's a great book. You know, it's funny. I am in the Evolve community. I have a book list in there and I recorded another episode earlier today. And the guest who was on that episode said two books that I've also read that are also amazing. I'm like, I don't have these on the book list in my community. I need to add them. So thank you.
There you go. You're welcome.
All right. So the
Ah,
second question,
yes.
you referred to spirit a few times in the
Mhm.
conversation. So when I'm in full connection with spirit, I get this crazy, it goes from crown to my feet, like surge of energy through my
Yep.
body.
Yep.
And I'm always curious what other people's physical feeling is when they are in connection.
So my sister and I like to describe us as we're a crying people.
Aw.
We fully emote through our eyeballs. And so it's
Aw.
tears immediately. Like songs will do it. I'll be so that the other church I tried here, they had the
Mhm.
greatest music and it was so great. And literally the first note, and I'd be like sobbing, sobbing. And I was like, what on earth is
I
happening? And so
love
that's
it.
where, and I could feel it. So I feel that electricity, like you said
Yeah.
too, like it's
Yeah.
in there, it's in my gut. It's the whole body, but we cry. I cry, like
Oh.
ugly cry. I never can find Kleenex. And everyone around me is like, y'all okay?
Everybody gets to see what you're
Yes.
feeling in that moment, Liz.
No poker face.
No,
None at all. Yeah.
no, I
So
love it.
cry. It's always tears. It just happened last Sunday. I'm on my walk and I just like I was praying or something and I just start crying and I was like, what on earth? I was like, okay, I get it. You're here. Got it.
You're like, what is it that you want me to see? Because I can't see anything. I
I
need
can't see.
windshield wipers in front of my eyeballs. That's funny. I love that. I love that. All right. So the third question. So that girl on her walk back.
Yeah.
So the third question is knowing what you know now,
Yeah.
what would you tell her to help her in that moment?
Uh, Probably what my overall life mantra is it always works out.
Mm,
Don't be afraid. It always
mm,
works out.
mm. I love that.
Yeah. But again, it happened pretty fast after that. So that long walk home was awful, and
Hmm.
those 5 hours were
Hmm.
awful. And then it stopped. And it's like, you're okay. It'll
Yeah.
be okay.
Yeah. Well, you cried.
Yeah.
God was
I
with you,
know.
right? In the tears.
Totally.
Yeah, he was with you in the tears. You just didn't know it
Yeah.
then, but
No,
you
I
know it
just did.
now.
I just thought that was normal. That's, of course you're going to cry. What just happened is awful. What, of course you're
Yeah.
going to cry.
No,
Of
I think
course.
God was crying through you.
Me too. Because
Yeah.
I think about that too. I know we're at time, but like I
No,
think
we're
about that
good.
too. Like God's got to be like, come on, y'all. What are you doing? Stop doing it.
Yeah. Well,
Stop.
and it's
Ugh.
interesting. So a couple of the other guests that I've had on the podcast are in the clergy themselves.
Mhm.
And, they often, but all of them have said how spiritually attacked those who are in that position, how
Mm.
vulnerable they are to spiritual attack, and how strong are they to withstand
Mhm.
that. And it
Mhm.
sounds like this guy who clearly was not an only offender with you, but
Yeah.
many multiple offender with you.
Yeah.
um, who knows if he grew up through the church in that evil already,
Correct.
or if he just turned into that at some point in
Right.
time because he was under attack and didn't realize it.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm a hurt people type of person. So
yeah, yeah,
the more you see
yeah.
this, you're like, that's what
No,
they
it's like,
know.
did that
That's what they
happen to
know.
him when he was a kid? Like, where does that
Yep.
come from? I mean,
Yep.
but either way, we all have the capability to grow out of our conditioning, our traumas, all of that. And shame on
Yep.
him for not doing the work to do that.
Yep. And I just
Yeah.
pray right now that he's done and his kids are okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of it.
Did he
Of
serve any time for that at all? No, it was just the civil suit
course
that was
not.
against him. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Nothing. And they admitted no wrong. They didn't, he
Wow.
never apologized. He never did anything. Like,
Wow.
yeah, it was such a bummer.
Wow.
So
Well, hopefully
upsetting.
he was
Like,
removed.
oof,
Was he removed from the camp?
no, nope. I mean,
No.
when I mean no apologies, I mean no admission of anything.
Oh, so it was just life as
He
usual
didn't even,
after that.
he was still with the organization. I stopped looking because I was like, what am I doing? I don't care. I really don't care anymore. My kids will never join it. I will not ever,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
90% of the people I'm sure are awesome, but whatever. But as of like 15 years ago, he was still with that organization.
Wow.
I know.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah,
Did
it's
your
such a
dad
bum.
file suit against the organization too?
Yeah. Hmm.
And they still kept him.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it was one of those, it was like, this is unbelievable. But then, there's so many, we could talk about this for years, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like so many realities hit with that. And I was like, I got to work through this disappointment in humans in general, because this is big.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, for real, because
everything was broken.
if it was an organization that I was a board member of,
Oh, yeah.
no, there would be zero question that I'd be like, bro, you're out. Like you're out.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Even
It was,
even be even if it was just allegation, right? I don't care.
yeah.
Like that's not a normal allegation. It's not a
No.
normal allegation. And then this family went and literally spent their resources to file a lawsuit against you. Like that's not normal.
Right. And it's not just her.
Yeah. It's six other people. Oh my God, seven
Yeah.
other people.
So yeah, so that was a tough one, just like all of those. But again, this is where
Yeah.
it was supposed to happen.
Yes.
I'm in a bigger
Yes.
piece. It's a bigger
Yes. And
piece that I can realize, and
mhm.
I'm okay. And we help those other girls. Like I
Good.
look at that and I
Yes.
feel amazing about that.
Yes.
And I was always so proud of my dad for that and for being like, and my both my parents, but like, thank you for believing in all of us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
many goods in that yuckiness, but
Wow.
yeah.
Well, Liz, I am so grateful to you for sharing that story today. And, you know, I just, my heart goes out to you and all of the girls that have been impacted by him.
Mhm.
And having been a victim of something similar myself, like it is something that makes you stronger. It is something that gives you resilience in life. It is something that shapes who you become. And I'm just so grateful to know you.
Yeah, thanks. Me
Yeah.
too. I'm sorry that you had to go through it too, and
Yeah.
that I get to be a little teeny part of your journey as you are
Yeah.
doing this whole
You're not a teeny
show.
part of
But
my
you
journey.
know what I
Come
mean. You have a
on.
lot. We
Yeah,
have big
yeah,
long
yeah.
lives, right? And so, just
We
I'm glad
do.
I'm a part. I'm glad I
We
get to play
do.
my part in your life, and
Yeah.
and I'm glad you get to play your part in my life. So,
Yes.
thank you, friend.
Yeah. Thank you, friend. All right. Well, do you have anything you'd like to tell the listeners before we sign off for today?
Uh, yeah, just know it'll always work out.
Oh,
It always does.
I love it. I love it. Well, Liz, thank you so much for being on today. I really appreciate it. And thank you all for listening today oh my gosh, I can't talk today. Thank you all for listening to Evolve Through God today. And we'll catch you on the next episode.